Hey, it's MiWilderness again. I got my autumn olives home and was trying to think of a way to wash them to get all these bits of leaves and bugs and branches out of them quickly, hopefully. So I just took all the olives and put them in this 5-gallon food safe bucket that was clean, and it appears all the berries are sitting on the bottom, and I'm just taking this spatula thingy and scooping out all the rotten berries and seeds and leaves. I don't think this is gonna get everything, but it'll probably get most of it. I just give these berries a little stir down in there, and that loosens up the leaves and lets them float to the top. I'm not sure why some of these berries are floating. I don't know if it's because they aren't quite ripe or what, but I figure I'll just get rid of those too and see how it turns out. Once I get them all nice and clean, I'm just gonna scoop them out and take them in and probably give them another good rinse off and just check them over for any leftover bugs or sticks or anything, and I'm gonna put them through my strainer and get all the juice out of them, and I might make some juice or something, but I figured I'd show you that. I put them on a big screen I have and laid them out nice and flat, and all the bugs scattered as soon as they were exposed like that. So that got rid of the bugs. Now I'm just trying to get rid of the little bits of leaves and stuff that I got when I gathered them. They're a pretty small berries, so I wasn't being too particular when I gathered them. I figured I can sort them out later, and it seems to be working pretty good. But I figured I'd just show you that in case you do decide to gather some of these and can't think of a way to get them clean. Just stick them in a 5-gallon bucket and fill it up with water and give them a gentle stir now and again, and most of those leaves and stuff will float to the top and you can just skim them off. Talk to you later. Okay, well, I'm all set up with my food mill to try and strain the juice out of these, and hopefully it'll catch all the seeds. The seeds in these autumn berries are a pretty good size, so it should catch them all, I'm hoping. I'm not too familiar with this tool, but it seems to work good for getting the seeds out of fruit. Pretty nice thing to have. Just sit it over the top of a container and put your fruit in there and turn this handle and it squeezes them out. I'm going to go ahead and run a few through there and see how it works, and I'll show you the end result. Hey, it's MiWilderness again. I just finished straining out my autumn olive berries, and I'll tell you, it was more work doing that than picking the things. I'm not used to using this food mill or strainer or whatever you want to call it. Normally I just pick the berries in the field and munch them as I go, but I wanted to see how this worked for making juice. As a juice, it's pretty thick. It's almost like a fruit smoothie, actually. But the nice thing is the seeds are big enough that that food mill strained them all out. With the blackberries, that food mill doesn't get all the seeds. It lets a lot of seeds go through, and with these autumn olives, it catches every one of the seeds. This is, I started out with 5 4 or 5 quarts of autumn olives, and this is what's left. This is the seeds and a little bit of pulp. It pretty much got all of the pulp out except for a little bit. I guess I could have ran this through the strainer once more and probably got a little more pulp and juice out of it, but I'd say that's probably about a quart and a half of seeds and pulp that I couldn't strain through, and I ended up with just about 2.5 quarts of puree. It's more like a puree or a smoothie. This is somewhat thin, but I had looked in one of my books, and the guy that wrote the book said that this will separate, the pulp will separate from the juice, and you'll have an almost clear juice, and you can pour the juice off and use the pulp to make fruit leather or whatever, or you can take it just like it is and make jam or jelly. You can use it like any other fruit, according to Sam Thayer anyway. He says it makes a pretty good unique jam or jelly, one of the two. But I just wanted to show you the finished product here. I'm gonna put this in the fridge, and hopefully tomorrow I can make try my hand at making some fruit leather with it, and hopefully one of these will separate enough so I can pour off some of the juice and have some juice. I'm gonna go ahead and have me a little fruit smoothie right now. I'll probably drink this right here, or at least some of it. It's pretty neat. I'm kind of impressed with these autumn olives. They strain out fairly easy compared to blackberries, and I'm not sure, but I think I almost ended up with more fruit with the end result. I think I ended up more with the autumn olives than I did the blackberries, but that is to be determined. But I thought I just wanted to give you a good look at that, and let's see what it looks like. Pretty neat. It tastes really good. It's kind of tart. A lot of the berries I picked were not completely ripe. They were all red, but they weren't fully ripe. The riper they get, the sweeter they get, I guess. And this is what I ended up with. So check it out, man. Get out there and pick some autumn berries and see what you think. Do use caution though. Make sure that what you're picking is autumn olives, because I went back through Sam Thayer's book, and there are probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 different species that look similar. But if you know what an autumn olive tree looks like, it should be pretty easy to distinguish. I've known what autumn olive is for a long time, so I don't have a problem, but there are a couple that look very similar. One of them I believe is poisonous, and the other 2 or 3 are edible, but you should do your homework and make sure that you have autumn olive before you go eating them. Russian olive is one. I believe buffalo berry was another. And I think there was 2 or 3 more that it's possible you could confuse them, but as long as you know the characteristics of autumn olive, you should be fairly safe. But you know, just to be on the side of caution, make sure you know what you're picking before you eat it. I don't rely on anybody else for my identity. I research these things myself and make sure I know what I'm picking, but make sure I'm 100% sure of what I'm picking before I eat it. And that's very important with any wild food. It's not like you're just going to the grocery store and picking them off the shelf. You gotta know what you're doing. But it's pretty cool. I guess the seeds are edible too. I ate a few. And they got a The outside is kind of tough, but you can chew them up and then spit off the chaff. They're pretty good actually. They've got a soft inside, so I don't know, kind of neat. I'm probably gonna head out in a few days and pick a bunch more. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to make jam and jelly out of them. It's not something I've ever done before, but there's a first time for everything, I guess. So I'll let you go. Get back to having me some autumn olive berry smoothie. Talk to you later.